Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and one of the things that I have learned in my decades of being around the iron game, at the age of 47, and my advice to people is do not be afraid to change your goals in order to make sure that fitness and training is part of your lifestyle. And I think for many of us, I see this a lot. The people who tend to drop out from training oftentimes, and I'm not saying this is exclusive, so please don't get me wrong. So some people will chime in and say, hey, I'm the exception. I've been doing this 37 years with the same goal. Okay, but what I mean, a lot of times people start training for a specific goal, and when that goal is no longer part of their life, what happens? They quit training. They get out of shape. High school athletes, the number one example. That one, everyone sees it. All right, football, American football, perfect example. Almost all young men who play football are required to lift weights. They're required to exercise. How many of them would you say 5 years after they finish high school still go to a gym or work out? 5%? 10%? I bet you it's less than 10. I bet it's closer to 5. Just my observation. How about age 30? I bet 1%. These are people who for several years of their life being an athlete was an important part of their identity. It was an important part of their social circle, and even their weight room was part of their social circle, but they quit. All right. How many people get into it as a strength sport? And then when they're beat up and they can no longer power lift because they followed the wrong programming and did the wrong stuff and wore knee wraps and ran ultra high specificity block periodization, they're beat up and they quit. How many of them keep lifting? A bunch drop out. How many bodybuilders? This is a bunch. Guys who join the gym because they're like, I want to be a bodybuilder, they get on the magazine. They maybe hit it for however 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. Then when they realize that bodybuilding is not really part of their lifestyle, how many quit? A big chunk, they just quit. Lifting should be for life. The iron game should be for life. It has amazing quality of life and health benefits. Now, I think a big part of it is too many people get beat up and hurt with bad knowledge, bad experience. Again, this is why I have my channel. I can teach you guys how to lift correctly, teach you how to keep stuff in check, discuss muscle balance, avoiding injuries, all these things. I put out all this free info. Unfortunately, because so many people have badmouthed me, people don't find me till it's too late. I get that all the time. People, I wish I would have known about this years ago. Your channel, I wish I would have came in. I see it all the time. You know, get a lot of people who don't hire me till they're already beat up. And we've got to get their egos in check and fix things. But that aside, that's a factor. But I think another big part of it is people looking at training as a single goal. This is one reason people are like, why are you, you've made a 180, you used to really dislike bodybuilding and aesthetic stuff, and now you appreciate it and train for different goals, and you're willing to acknowledge different goals, and you're talking about being well-rounded. And okay, that's a perfect example, because guess what? A lot of times my training was geared towards keeping me motivated and was to compete in powerlifting. Tired of all the politics and nonsense in that, and it's less important to me at the moment. So I needed other goals. And that's one of the reasons I personally also, again, reached an epiphany. It's okay to change goals. You know why it's okay to change goals? Because when the old goal no longer serves us, if we have other reasons, we train other motivations to keep it a daily part of our lifestyle, we will keep our training up. Okay, this is why I tell people don't do silly stuff like say, I'm only going to train for X or Y. I'm only going to train for aesthetics. And a lot of you guys have chimed in, so I've been doing that 7 years. Till you lose interest in it. See what I mean? You need to be willing to be flexible. We need to be willing to look at our goals and have multiple reasons why we train. And it's okay to have those reasons be, I want a power lift, I want a big bench, I want a big deadlift. I want nice abs and I want to look good naked. Right? I want it to carry over to my boxing. I want it to carry over to my golf game. Okay? It is okay to have multiple goals. And in fact, I would encourage it, unless you are competing at the highest levels, national or higher level in your respective discipline, I'm going to strongly recommend that you early on say, hey, I'm going to train for multiple goals. Why? It will keep you focused. It will give you something to fall back on when other things diminish. Why? Because that's our tendency. We tend to put in a lot of work and train hard. We have very specific things we're training for. And we lose motivation, we lose our discipline, we lose our habits if we don't keep other things in the flow. And it's okay that they're things of less importance right now. But being flexible in those goals and then applying the same discipline that you applied is how we stay lifers. You know, I've always told people, though, you don't need motivation when you've been doing it as long as I do. It's just discipline, it's habit. But if we don't have direction for that discipline and habit, we're just showing up and going through the motions. And so I do think it is important to combine those together. You need to have reasons to train and be flexible. Let them change. Look, your goal could be right now, I want a massive deadlift. Another time you could be, man, I just want really nice abs and nice biceps. I really want to carry over to my running. I really want, these different things. Because obviously we should always be health and stuff in fitness also. That's obvious. But setting those other specific goals gives us reasons to push a little harder, to be a little more consistent. It keeps us in the flow. In fact, one of my clients I had for a couple years, I used to call him Grandpa George. He had like 7 grandkids. And he told me, I compete in a strength sport so that I have a reason to train, so that I can stay strong enough to keep picking up my grandchildren as I get older. But notice the way that he applied that. It wasn't just because he wanted to pick the grandchildren. If that was his underlying motivation, was fitness and health and longevity, right? But he's like, I need a reason to train so that I push harder. So I chose whatever this specific strength sport, this discipline, so that I have a reason to push myself, so that I will get those other effects. That's a wise man. Of course, he's older than me, more life experience than me, so okay, I get it. There's wisdom in that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.